Every second, thousands of BMW M3s are destroyed.
Holy fuck!
And though our cheap M3 hasn't been crashed, it may as well have been, because the hidden damage we found today was just as destructive.
But how much did we pay for this problem on wheels?
Well, $13,000.
M3 plus a whole lot of money equals a working car? But what we've just discovered might spell the end for this legendary M3.
But these welds here indicate cracking around the strut tower. This is a massive issue, because if not repaired correctly, the body may never be safe for the road again. The body, or chassis, is the most central, most core component to the car. So what happened to the all-important chassis of our M3? Well, after some intense driving, the chassis fatigues in weak spots. And on the E36 M3, that weak spot is where the struts and rear subframe bolt up to the body. And considering that the E36 chassis is about to turn 35 years old, chassis failures like this are not just common, but pretty much guaranteed if left unchecked. And in many cases, damage to the chassis after track fatigue or a crash can result in a statutory write-off, meaning this analog sports car may be forever unregisterable.
So Felix is behind the camera and we're both here, pretty upset. This is not the news that we wanted to have for you guys, but you know, that's life. We're gonna get the car up and see, well, we'll just have a closer look to see if there's any like actual chance of saving this thing. Maybe, you know, everything looks good. We can turn it around. I don't want to get your hopes too high, I don't want to get my hopes too high. First of all, we'll get the car up and have a closer look.
The car is up, but the mood is still down. We're going to drop the rear subframe here so we can see if there's any more damage to the underside of the body, see if the chassis is still usable. But first, we're going to remove the boot here so we can get some more light on the possible damage. Getting the boot off is usually not a very difficult job. And in this case, it was even easier because the body loom wiring was snipped. Great. Next, the calipers and rotors have to come off. And if you've ever worked on a brake system that hasn't been touched in years, count yourself lucky. Because as usual, one of the bolts was stuck and started stripping. But the big guns took care of it pretty quickly.
Nice. There you go.
The rotors come off with a gentle love tap from the sledgehammer. Don't need the cheek. And with a lot of effort and playing around with the finicky little thing,
Parking brake, disconnected.
not much more to go. Our main goal is to get rid of this rear subframe here so we can get a better view of the underside of the chassis here. And this is what it all comes down to, guys. Just a few nuts and bolts and we'll have our answer. The rear subframe is pretty heavy, so as we unbolt it from the chassis, we're careful to use a jack to lower it safely. Yeah, real safe. And it was definitely about time this thing came down. These shocks are meant to rebound upwards, not sit in place. And that's the rear subframe down. And now with the rear subframe down, we can get a better look at the vitally important rear subframe mounting points and further inspect the underside of the car for damage.
We've had a look around, but obviously we're no experts, so we don't really know if it's okay or not. Here are the pictures we sent off to CAS Engineering, and we're waiting to hear back from them, see what they think, if we move forward or not. Now, it's just a waiting game. Hello? So I just got off the phone with the experts at CAS Engineering, and they certainly had some news about the damage. And the news came as a shock to me, because CAS said we're back in business, baby. Let's go.
That's really good news. And it means that this M3 can be saved, no matter how difficult and costly the path may be. Moving forward, the first thing we want to address is the legendary power plant housed under the hood of the M3, the S50B30. But it's not going to be easy, because the cylinder head has severe damage. The head is a vital component to any combustion engine, as it aspirates the cylinders with the air and fuel needed for power and then allows the exhaust gases to escape before repeating the cycle. And on the track, each of the S50's 6 cylinders will be doing that around 50 times per second as it approaches its red line. But the head of our S50, well, it looks like the aftermath of a war zone. There's corrosion and wear marks on the mating surface, which would definitely prevent a good seal between the cylinder head and the cylinder block. Not good. These things are not cheap, and this M3 is on a tight budget, so if we can get it repaired, we may save ourselves thousands. So once again, we ask the experts at CAS Engineering to have a look at it and provide some advice.
There's the head of the S50.
all the damage, so we're off to take it to Kaz Engineering. Let's go.
Who said coupes couldn't be practical? Watch the subwoofer. Watch the... This is why we need an X5.
Yeah.
BMW headquarters, please send us an X5.
For real.
Beautiful day. Beautiful E46 coupe. Oh, I heard a bang there.
Alright. She's in.
Let's go to Kaz, baby. And at first glance, Kaz noticed the extensive damage that the S50 B30 head had taken. But what we were really happy to find out is that the damage was actually repairable. Though this doesn't mean we're out of the thick of it, because there was one thing still looming over our heads. How much will it cost?
While we're waiting to figure out what's going to happen with the rear subframe reinforcement, and until we get the S50 back up and running, we thought we'd work on something else. And that is, ta-da, little red rocket. This is a 2023 BMW M4 competition.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
I
This
don't
is
think so.
a 19-something E36. We picked this up as a parts car because it came with some lovelies.
Ooh.
It's got a rebuilt M40.
I was like this. Here. Probably the best thing about this little thing
Is it's got one of these.
That
Look
is a manual transmission.
5 speeds, 4 wheels, 4 cylinders as well.
Oh. We got it for a great price, so this will be useful, and she will be cannibalized and turned into a tiny little cube.
But yeah, the main thing for the M3 is going to be these seats, and I'm sure some of you guys are like, no, the Vader seats, they're so special to the M3. But you're an idiot. No, they just need to be reupholstered, and we don't have the money for that, so we're going to be putting these in for the time being. At some point we will get the Vaders redone, but it's like $1,000. And with just a day, the little E36 compact was sent to be cubed. Goodbye, little buddy. Oh, and before I let you go, Kaz Engineering just called us back to let us know what the machine shop thought of the head, and of course, how much it's going to cost us.
It looks less like water corrosion and more like electrolysis corroding away at it. So that happens when you're missing a ground. It can all be welded up and made to look pretty. So I can count it out. There's 18 different areas. Like I said, I don't want to get hopes on anything. So
Okay, yeah, true. That makes sense.
Like with how huge the job is, like have it all resurfaced. So in regards to cost, it was probably be around